In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a zoom blur in DaVinci Resolve 20 step by step, using the built-in effect controls to get a smooth, dramatic result. This is a great technique for adding energy, focus, and motion to your edit, whether you're working on a cinematic shot, a landscape sequence, a transition, or just want to make your footage feel more dynamic. The best part is that it's simple to control once you know where the settings are. If this tutorial helps you out, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more easy DaVinci Resolve tips just like this. Alright, let's jump in. First, open your project in DaVinci Resolve and make sure your clip is already placed on the timeline. The effect works best when you apply it directly to the clip you want to enhance, so go ahead and select that clip first. Now, drag the zoom blur effect onto the clip. You'll usually find it in the effects library, and once you drop it onto the clip, the effect is active and ready to customize. After that, open the inspector. This is where all of the important controls live, and it's where you'll fine-tune the zoom blur so it looks polished instead of overdone. The first setting you want to adjust is the zoom amount slider. This controls how far the image appears to pull toward the viewer. If you increase it, the blur becomes stronger and the zoom effect becomes more intense. If you lower it, the effect stays more subtle and natural. A good tip here is to start small and slowly increase it until the movement feels right for your footage. If you push it too far, the image can start to look messy, so take your time and preview the result as you go. Next, look for the center exclusion slider. This is a very useful control because it lets you keep a specific area in the middle of the frame sharp and unaffected by the blur. In other words, if you want the center subject, a detail in the landscape, or an important focal point to stay clean while the rest of the frame stretches outward, this is the slider that helps you do that. Moving it can really change the overall feel of the effect, so experiment with it until the main subject stands out the way you want. After that, expand the center position controls. This is where you can move the focal point of the zoom blur to a specific area of interest in the landscape or scene. Instead of keeping the effect centered by default, you can position it exactly where you want the viewer's attention to go. This is especially useful if your subject is off-center, or if you want the zoom to radiate from a mountain, a person, a building, or any other key point in the frame. Shifting the center position helps the effect feel intentional and much more professional. Now scroll down to the advanced control section. Here, make sure border type is set to replicate. This setting is important because it helps keep the frame edges clean while the zoom blur is active. Without the right border type, you may notice unwanted edge artifacts or empty-looking borders around the image, and that can make the effect feel unfinished. Replicate helps preserve the look of the frame and keeps everything visually consistent as the blur spreads outward. Finally, go to the Global Blend section and adjust the blend slider. This setting controls how strongly the zoom blur is integrated with the original clip. If you raise the blend too much, the effect can overpower the footage, but if you keep it balanced, the zoom blur will sit naturally in the scene. The goal is to make the effect feel like part of the shot, not something pasted on top of it. So again, preview your clip, make small adjustments, and find the sweet spot where the blur adds motion without distracting from the subject. Once you've gone through these steps, you'll have a clean and cinematic zoom blur in DaVinci Resolve 20. It's a simple effect, but when you control the zoom amount, center exclusion, center position, border type, and blend properly, it can completely change the energy of your edit. If this tutorial helped you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next DaVinci Resolve tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.